Pioneers, I truly believe that your thoughts are the greatest asset to change, power, and success in this world. Everything begins with your thoughts. Your words become your reality. You are where you are today in part because of what you've been saying about yourself. Words are like seeds. When you speak something out, you give life to what you're saying. If you can continue to say it, eventually that can become your reality. Whether you realize it or not, you are prophesizing, manifesting your future. And this is great when we're saying things like, I'm blessed, I am strong, I am smart, I am talented, I am a winner, etc. I will accomplish my dreams, I'm coming out of debt. That's not just being positive and optimistic. You are prophesizing and manifesting victory. Prophesizing and manifesting success. Prophesizing and manifesting new levels for yourself. Your life will move in the direction of your words, of your thoughts. But too many people go around in this matrix prophesizing, manifesting just the opposite. I am broke. I am tired. All that nonsense. I never get any good breaks. I'll never make it in life. Business is slow. I'll probably get laid off. Flu season is here. I always get it. I gotta get another jab. They don't realize they are prophesizing their own defeat. It's just like they're calling bad breaks. Calling for mediocrity, calling for that lack mindset. You can't talk defeat and expect to have a victory. You can't talk lack and that negativity, talking about I'm not enough, I can't afford it, I'm never going to get ahead, and expect to have abundance. If you have a poor mouth, you're going to have a poor life. Can I get a hello? If you don't like what you're seeing, start sowing some new seeds. So the first thing you have to do is you have to become conscious of your unconscious thoughts and activities. You got to notice your automatic habits and behaviors and change them. Become aware of your emotions, your energy in motion that keep you anchored to the past. And if you can become so conscious of the unconscious states of mind and body, then they will never slip by your conscious awareness again. You're becoming familiar with your old self, so you don't return to your old self. Then if you begin to think about new ways of being defined by a vision, your outcome, plan your behaviors, review them in your mind, build a crafting skill to get you to your outcome. Now if you keep doing that over and over again, you'll begin to become familiar with a new state of mind, a new state of being, a pioneer consciousness. At the same time, if you can emotionally cultivate your inspiration, your joy, your enthusiasm ahead of the experiences you're dealing with in life by repeating that over and over again, day in and day out, cultivating that state, prophesizing and manifesting your reality, it's going to begin to become familiar to you. So then the process of change then requires unlearning and relearning, breaking old habits of the old self and reinventing the new self, unmemorizing emotions that are stored in the body. Now here's the key, pioneers: reconditioning the body to a new mind, into a new emotion. It's literally moving from your past to your future. It's losing your mind and creating a new one. And then, when you begin to understand in the process of this, oh man, everything looks so beautiful. It's going to feel a little uncomfortable and unfamiliar at times. But if you can relax, take a deep breath, and do a little samba, baby, instead of going back to the past, you're going to go right back to the future, baby. continuously investing in yourself, planting seeds that you'll eat one day. It'll become easier and easier as each day passes, and all of a sudden, when you least expect it, something amazing is going to be happening to you, pioneers. And when that event begins to occur, remember where you came from. Pay attention to what you did inside of you along your journey to produce the effect outside of you that you're seeing right now. That's called empowerment, and there isn't a person in the world that is excluded from this equation. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you actually sat down and manifested your own reality? Because what you believe in your hearts and speak in your minds will eventually become your words and your reality. And what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset. And what gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset becomes an unconscious action and an unconscious activity. And I've always wanted mine to be guideful, helpful, and just nurturing to others. Because if you give a man or woman a fish, they'll eat for a day. But if you leave them that fishing rod and teach them how to fish, they can eat for a lifetime. But before you leave along your journey, if you can teach them how to farm, then they will one day feed nations. And that's been my goal here, is to raise the frequency, raise the vibrations, and document my journey into the digital decade and the new quantum financial system, and leave behind breadcrumbs for all you Hansel and Gretel motherfuckers out there. Leave behind a story for my son to watch one day. So, welcome back to another episode of the Daily Candle Close News, where we talk about everything crypto almost weekly. So we're going to jump straight into the markets because we've been off for a few days, and we see today in crypto on the 2-hour time frame, we've been talking about, obviously back here, how if we couldn't get a higher high in structure and a breakout of 23,700, breakout above this 24,200 range, then we knew we could expect a possible pullback to this 22,700. Today's 2/27, you guys, February 27th. So we knew this was a possible range that we were talking about coming back to in our last video, not holding support of, could possibly bring us back down to this 21,500 sudden destruction range. So we see we got this high with a low, and now we're setting a higher high and hopefully setting a higher low. So that's pretty bullish for the bulls. So we're paying attention to this $22,700 range that we fell to around the 25th of February, as well as back here around our last video, around the 5th of February as well. We fell below that and then shot right back out, but we were in this descending wedge type pattern that we know from previous videos we share with you has a 68% chance of a breakout. This is the daily time frame, so a much larger view than what we were just seeing, but a same falling wedge pattern with a 68% chance of a breakout. So on the smaller time frames, we've been in 2 of those recently, and we saw a 68% breakout to an all-time high, not all-time high, but a new microstructure high that came in on February 21st and 23rd, 223, right there. So the 20th, where our new moon was, we get our high, and then we get some bullish action on the 22nd and the 23rd. So very important. This 223 just playing a huge role as to why we see our sell-off come in back down to the 223 exponential moving average, and then fall below the 322 exponential moving average right after we pass through February 23rd, the 223 day in the 223 year, tying us into our favorite lizard pals at Yale University, Skull and Bones, you guys, the Brotherhood of Death. So very important to see this esoteric sell-off coming in right here around Wednesday, Thursday, the 23rd, 223. So of course y'all know that was going to be important and something we've been keeping an eye on. We do know that we teach you for almost 2+ years now that around the 21st, 22nd of every month, we tend to get a microstructure reset and recycle in the market. So not surprising to get our bullish energy leading all the way into the 20th of February, which we know was our at it somewhere. It was our February full moon, or new moon, I mean, right here. And we got our new moon, where we tend to get bullish energy around 3 to 5 days before, on which February 20th was our high so far of $25,250. So the 25, pay attention. We'll be talking about that 25 number later. So very important that we just see this bullish energy come around our new moons right here that we teach you about. So very important. We know since then we've been in a sell-off, and we tend to be in a sell-off towards and into the full moon and around the full moon. So roughly 3 to 5 days after our full moon, we had our low come in that gave us support off of this very important $21,500 range that we've been talking about for quite some time here. So what we want to see is continue to set higher lows and higher highs in structure. That would show us continuation to the upside. So we're in this falling wedge, and we tend to get a breakout 68% chance of the time, and that's what we're getting right now. But we're stopping out and getting held from closing 2-hour candles above this 223 exponential moving average, and we need to break this 237 horizontal range. That's very important to get a bullish move to the upside. We need to break out, come back, retest to break out even higher. Okay, so very important. We want to pay attention to these two exponential moving averages. Okay, so we know right now Bitcoin's been pulling back because, well, the stock market's been pulling back. We've been seeing that. Very important to pay attention to this retest of the S&P 500 of this trend line. We could get a bounce up. Who knows? We're setting high, higher low, higher low, higher low as of right now. So very important. Dow Jones, just getting stopped out at this 702, the golden pocket. We told y'all how important that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches now, getting stopped out at this 702, falling back to the 0.5. Could come back down even more for the indices in the Dow Jones. So very important to pay attention to. It's what we're seeing in the crypto, bringing some downside momentum right now. So 68% chance this breaks higher, and we've talked about these exact ideas. So this is very important to pay attention to, this falling wedge pattern. But if Bitcoin breaks down, we could ride the outside of this trend line or just break through it and see 22,700, 22,300 to 223. We could see that on another drive lower, but that would still be setting a higher low. So very important. Going back to the larger pattern on the higher time frame, we're kind of in this momentum right here, where we're in this type of pattern, working our way to the upside, kind of like a parallel channel. So we're kind of just working like this. But is this a Bitcoin top? That's what everybody wants to know, because we've got a bearish divergence on the higher time frames, even on the let's go back to that, the daily time frame. Let's look at our RSI real quick, you guys, and the MACD. We see on both the RSI, we see price action is setting higher high after higher high, but the RSI is setting high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And that's a bearish divergence. Something we want to pay attention to as traders and investors is identifying the bearish divergences, okay? We want to pay attention to that so that we don't get lost, distracted, broken, and confused by paying attention to what somebody else is talking about, alright? So in this parallel channel, with a bearish divergence, not only on the RSI still, but the MACD as well, setting a high, lower high, is something we can pay very close attention to for potential retest to around that 22,300, 22,700, or possibly maybe even 22,000 even. Psychologically, that 22. We know that 22 number is a very important number coming out of 2022 last year, the Jewish Hebrew New Year of 5782, which adds up to 22. That number last year, 22, was a very important number. And 5 days ago was the 22nd of the month, where we tend to get, around that time period, a microstructure reset and recycle. So we see that around this time period, we were getting our sell-off starting to happen. It came in on the 21st, right after our new moon, which tends to be bullish, and ever since the 21st and 22nd, where we tend to get this reset, recycle, we're starting to get a microstructure sell-off. Okay, so very important to see where we hold support. This on the daily time frame, 223 exponential moving average is sitting right there at around $22,000 even, 22,100 roughly. So very important that we pay close attention to that. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's talk about some of the date numerology for why we're starting to see some of this. And let's go back a few days and then talk about today. Starting off yesterday, there's that 22 weeks from the start of the Jewish Hebrew New Year last year and Rosh Hashanah, the end of the Shemitah and the start of the 50-year biblical Jubilee cycle practiced in Judaism. So very important. But when we look at the date numerology for yesterday, because it's 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning when I'm giving you this on 227, 227 is the 49th prime number. So pay attention to today, Monday, Moon Day, being a day that adds up to 72, 36, being the 58th day of the year. We'll break this all down in a minute, but it's going to be an important day. But not to get ahead of myself, we see this 22 weeks from yesterday was a very important time period, because we know that 22 ties us into reset, which is why we get a sell-off around, or a microstructure low around the 22nd, 21st of every month. Recycle and change, giving us both that same 22. So very important that we pay attention to this, what I've been teaching you for 2 years. But this also ties us into alchemy, giving us that same 22, or the Alpha Omega, giving us that same 22 in numerology. So very important. When those 22s, the Master Builder, Master Destroyer number in numerology. Alright, so not surprising that we saw this. Alright, but let's go back to where we saw our high 3 days roughly after the full moon and on the full moon. So we saw that this was obviously the new moon on Monday, Moon Day, February 20th. That 2-2 date. Drop the 0 in the rules of numerology, you get the 22. So again, that 22 coming in the second month, they tell us on the Gregorian calendar, the 2s have been very, very powerful so far. So we got our new moon on the 20th, which was President's Day. Woohoo, anyways, but and then we started to see a sell-off coming into February 23rd. 223 being a day that leaves 311 days left in the year, tying us back into the mirror of that is 113, tying us back into the Babylonian Talmud, the Baba Kamal, giving us that 113, this disinfo, illusion, not true, bullshit, all giving us 113. Very, very scripted number, this 113 day. So a day leaving 311 days left in the year, we start to get our sell-off pretty rapidly. That led into 224. And why was that 224 important? Because especially for Bitcoin, the next day, 224, it added up to 69, Bitcoin's most recent high, and it was the 55th day of the year. Well, that 224, that 69, and that 55 ties us all into Satoshi Nakamoto, giving us that 224 and that 55. And that Satoshi Nakamoto character is a pseudonym for Saturn, Father Time, giving us that same 69. And we teach you all this. Bitcoin is Saturn, Father Time to the cryptocurrency market. It is the sun, Sol, Helios, Ra. It gives energy to the entire cryptocurrency market. So this 223 leading into a low around 224 was not surprising. Very important. Getting a bounce on 225, a palindrome date when written internationally, 252. Very important that we get a bounce off of 22,700, 227, the 49th prime number, and today is 227. So we'll go ahead and speak about that day today. It adds up to 72 and 36 in numerology, which ties us into, we know of course, Bitcoin. Very important, giving us that same 72 and 36. So irrefutable, undeniable right here. So going to be paying attention to this today. It's the 58th day of the year, tying us into Puppet Master, giving us that same 58, or the Tetragrammaton, giving us that same 58 as well. So I'm going to be paying attention to the day in the cryptocurrency market pretty closely. Alright, so I believe this could be a pivot point and pivot date for the markets. So let's zoom out and let's talk about some more things, some market psychology and sentiment, because there's a lot we can discuss about the recent move we've been seeing in the markets, because I believe it's caught a lot of people off guard, and they're starting to get excited, and typically this is not the best time to get excited when we're already up from our lows, roughly 62%. Not surprising. That's not the best time to get excited. You kind of want to get excited when things are bloody and boring, and that's been the methodology of my work for a year now, is to get ahead of the markets so that when we get these euphoric rallies, we know what to do. We know to start dollar cost averaging out as we climb up to get ready to reaccumulate over time in the near distant future. Not financial advice, but I've been teaching this for a while. But I've lately said that I believe we're starting an automatic rally phase, and this is a time where you're going to see cryptos go up 100, 200, 300% out of nowhere in a matter of minutes, seconds, days, and it gets really exciting for people. But the pioneers here at the Daily Candle Close News, they're not playing that game. They don't date it, they don't hate it, they just trade it, okay? They're not a bull, they're not a bear, they're a pioneer, okay? So they follow the moon patterns and the things that we teach here, numerology, math, gematria, exotericism, etc., okay? And they realize that this is pre-programmed to an algorithmic code. And so lately I've been trying to be really effective at putting my best work out there over the last year. And for quite some time, I told you all for the last several months, we were in search of a bottom, short-term bottom, before we get an automatic rally leading into March and April of 2023. And we're starting to get that. Prematurely, yes, but the markets don't move exactly how we want them to. So this move, even though it's premature, it still counts as, so far our bottom is in at roughly 15,000, I don't remember, it's 15,000 something, 15,500, so that 155, and then we jumped all the way up to 25,000, so up 10 grand, you guys. So pay attention. Like, I've tried to prepare you all for this. So as you're all aware, this is very important. I pulled a fib from this current high that we just previously broke to our current cycle low of 15,500, and you're going to see what we're getting right now. We're getting a rejection from the 1618, which is the golden pocket, you guys. So very important. We teach you this, the golden ratio, 161. Okay, so getting rejection from this 161 is not uncommon. Okay, we tend to come back and retest the 0.1, the 888, possibly even the golden pocket, and then continue up before we break above this 161 if we're gonna continue to get rejected. Maybe we just need to get one touch and then we'll break through. Who knows? But this trend line for quite some time has come into a huge role because it's multiple years long, you guys. So it could take some time for us to get back above 25,700. This yellow line, this golden line right here, or this 161 and this trend line. It could take some time for us to break this level. Okay, again, 257 is the 55th prime number, tying us into, again, Satoshi Nakamoto. So very important. Okay? Alright, so we got to blast off straight into this trend line, and like I talked about, just paying close attention to it, okay? But this fib right here in a short-term pool is showing a lot of beautiful things. One, a W pattern breakout, swing high to swing low, playing on the 236 for a while, and then we shot past this descending wedge pattern. Again, another descending wedge with a 68% chance of a breakout, and we got it. Perfect, you guys. Don't go against math. Okay? So just blasting past the 0.382, the 0.5, the 618, the 702, and then right to the 888, which is very important because it shows us abundance and prosperity. Okay? The angel number. Very important, okay? A lot of people don't know about this range on the Fibonacci extension, and I suggest you add it in there, okay? So we shoot straight up to it and then straight into this trend line. Get a retest to the 0.1 and then bounce into this trend line. So this is pretty important, okay? We only stalled out for a second at this 888, so this was where we got a sell-off right here from the 888, and if we come back and retest, that'll be good, kind of like a back test of this prior high, okay, which we did right here, and it's healthy. It's really nice to see, and it's welcome because look, it's already led us right back into this trend line on the daily time frame. So right now we're setting a low, higher low, higher low. So very important to see if we just get a breakout leading into March, the true first month of the year, and maybe we get a real reset to these markets, okay? So very important. But to see this sell off around the 12th, 13th of February, right here around the Super Bowl, it kind of reminds us of the same thing that we were talking about in another chart that showed us this very awkward time in February last year around the Super Bowl, where we had this, pump all the way up until I think it was the 12th, 11th and 12th, 13th, same time period. Maybe it was the 15th last year, I'm not sure, but we had the same pump before a sell-off, and then just choppiness action leading all the way up until April, March. What we've been talking about. Same thing back in here, just February being a very explosive, choppy month, going back several years. So not surprising to see all this. We want to continue to see if we can set higher lows and break on past this like we have previously in past Februaries. It's great to, when we pay attention to past data and we see it come into fruition and we have that opportunity to trade the plan. Beautiful executions, and I hope everyone's taking this very seriously and they're able to benefit by the charts that I'm sharing here, the TA, the numerology, gematria, etc. Okay, especially before we start to move up to our new leg higher, and then you start to see more people on YouTube or the news or crypto Twitter or whatever, trying to get you to FOMO into these markets after, again, they're already up 62% from our lows. So let's be sophisticated investors. Real sophisticated investors and pioneers do not get emotional. They keep their emotions for real life. They don't panic, and they don't get greedy and excited during rallies like this, and they want to FOMO in at the tops. They knew to be buying down here when we were telling them to, not financial advice. And they don't get depressed when we're in a year-long downtrend like we were. We were super excited. We bought the blood in the streets. Not financial advice. Dollar cost averaging every week. So I know you all have heard me say this before, but becoming a true investor and trader requires you to remove any and all emotions from this game. That's all it is. It's a game. A game that is played where you can make money by being patient. Because money moves from impatient hands to the patient hands, okay? And to become a true hero and pioneer, a chosen one for you and your family, the one that's gonna take self-accountability and self-responsibility and reach success for your family, well, you can't get caught up in emotions and be that person, the pioneer, the leader, okay? Because this market is ran on emotions, and I've taught you guys this. So becoming a sophisticated, self-reliant trader who isn't caught off guard by the volatile price action of falling for the emotions is the one that is going to be putting in the work, doing the due diligence, doing their own investment strategy, thesis, and analysis, and trading their own plan and strategy and blueprint. Not following advice from someone else like me or another crypto YouTuber or Twitter enthusiast, whatever. They're doing the work themselves. Alright, they're not becoming a consumer, they're becoming a leader, a pioneer. Alright? And for me, I taught myself a system using numerology, gematria, periodic table of elements, astrology, ancient theological teachings from an ancient prehistoric world, and math, which is facts, figures, numbers, logic, and common sense, rationality, and always fucking true. That I can now teach others how to look at a chart, and within seconds, minutes, they can tell exactly what's going to happen in the short term, in the long term, or at least they can calculate a good idea of what's going to happen moving forward based off past data, which is what technical analysis is. Again, by leaving all the emotions out of this game on the sidelines and leaving your emotions for real life, you'll be able to become the superstar, stay cool, calm, and collective, and be excited about making money in these markets instead of lost and following someone else's moves. Don't be the consumer, be the pioneer. Don't be the chess player, be the chess master, okay? Not the pawn in the game. And that's what I've been trying to teach you all. So, let's just remember that. Alright, so one thing we know is our automatic rally is confirmed, but to continue to see this go higher, we want to break this trend line that we've been talking about. And with this fib pool, we could see that we could possibly go to this 4.236, which we know is pretty red hot and overheated. I'm not saying we'd go straight there. It'd be more like we break out to the 2618, come back, retest the 25,700 or this trend line, and then continue up, leading into March, mid-April, leading into our April 20th eclipse. Okay, solar eclipse. That's why we're getting this bullish energy heading into our solar eclipse. Just like back here when we got this automatic rally a year after our high to low, we got an automatic rally. Same thing, year after high to low, automatic rally, and it led into a solar eclipse before it sold off. So I just expect a repeat, you guys. And so far, so good, so true. Okay, so if we were to break this and then we get up to this 4.236, that's going to be right there at around that 42,000 range, that 40,000 psychologically, and that's going to be breaking some major ranges where we sold off at that 40,000 right here at around May, sell in May, walk away, May 4th, May the force not be with us, is what we saw. So, but also this right here at around April 21st, April 20th, basically a year from our upcoming solar eclipse, we had a sell-off for at around that 42.5 range. But if we were to get all the way back up to this 48K as we head into April 5th, Satoshi Nakamoto's 48th birthday, wouldn't that be amazing? And by the numbers. is 48K. And if we were to break up above this 0.5 to this 0.7 fib, oh wow, that's pretty high, 57. I think that's way too high. But if we were to break that 48K, that could show us a possible trend reversal. If we were to get up here and break above it and start closing daily candles above this 48, you know, it'd only be 100% move within the next month. What is it? Yeah, we're just now about to head into March. So basically the next 2 months, it'd only be probably, from where we're at right now, 100% move. And we know Bitcoin can do that in a matter of days. It's the number one performing asset ever. Moved up over 1,000,000% in, you know, several years. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just saying we're in our automatic rally. We've talked about several price ranges, 28 to 33, to that 44K range, that we could possibly see come in the cards in the near distant future. So let's just continue to break this down even more. You know, right here around this 38 to 43K is where I see this coming in. You know, it may seem dramatic, but it makes a lot of sense when you pull a fib from our swing high. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, got to get where I can see it. But pull a fib from our swing high to our swing low. You know, it wouldn't be surprising because we ain't even made it past the 236 yet, and it would take us right here at around this 42 to 43 range. Would take us to this 0.5 fib. Do I have my logs in? Yeah, let's do it in linear, in a logarithmic scale. I'm on a log chart, so we're gonna put our fibs, because we're in a grandiose daily time frame, long-term view. We're gonna put our fibs on log scale as well, you guys, and we're gonna see that 43K is gonna take us right there to around that 43K is that 702, that golden pocket where we got our sell-off. So not surprising, kind of like a ABC, but like a dead cat bounce basically after we set our all-time high. So not surprising to see, especially for crypto. So I would personally start looking to de-risk anything around this $38,000 range, this 618 to this 786, you know, at 48K, 49K, coming out of the 49th year of the Shemitah year last year, the sabbatical year. So very important. So one thing, let's go back to the smaller time frame and see. Let's talk about potential downside targets if we were to continue to see this pullback. We've already done that, and that's pretty much 22.7, 22.3, or 22K even, 22.2. Not surprising that 222, but we would still be in a higher low structure like I've talked about. Low, high, higher low, or we could even double bottom at this 21.5 and you know, continue up there. That wouldn't be surprising as well, just confirming this past resistance as support even more. So let's pay attention to what happens leading into the 3rd of March, Friday, Freya Day. March is going to be an important month to pay attention to. Again, it's truly the beginning month of the year, Abib. Pay attention to Exodus, go reread it. March is the true start of the new year. So March 1st will be Happy New Year's. So very important. Time for you to start your true New Year's resolutions, you guys. Get ready. But anyways, that's enough about Bitcoin. We've talked about what's recently been going on. Some upcoming dates we can look out for, though, are the dates of obviously March 1st, which will be 22 weeks, 3 days, the 223 days from the 223 number, from the start of the Shemitah and Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish Hebrew New Year. It's also a day that adds up to 47. We know Bitcoin is, its creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, is 47 years old right now. So that will be leading into 22 weeks, 4 days, tying us into Satoshi Nakamoto. And the 3-3 date, which is a day that leaves 303 days left in the year. Drop the 0, you get the 33. and you get the 33 as well. This day adds up to 49 in numerology, which is the 7th prime number, square root of 7. So very important. Also, this could be a very powerful day for the markets, getting 13 in numerology when added up 2 times, tying us into, exotericism. The death card, the 13th card in the tarot deck, is the death card. So I'm paying attention to this very powerful 33 number, and this 3-3 date. We look at our 33 chart right here. From the time we broke above the 223 exponential moving average to the time we broke below the 322, because we got above the 223 for the first time, and then got above the 322 for the first time, but then sold off exactly 33 days from the time we broke above to the time we broke below both of these exponential moving averages. Just a span of 33 days that we had time to play around and take advantage up in here from our recent lows before coming back and retesting, or possibly right now we're getting sell off below the 322. If we can't hold the 223, we're going to sell below to possibly retest this 21.3, 21.5 range. So very important. That 213 again ties us into the 13 number, the death card. We know death gives us 213 when typed out. So that's another reason why we saw a microstructure low around February 13th, you guys, that we were talking about. Where's the 13th? Right here. So right after the Super Bowl, and a day that left 322 days left in the year, skull and bones, we get a low on the 13th of February, right before Valentine's Day, and we see lovely price action come in the market ever since. So very important, just irrefutable, undeniable as to why we see this market always play out by code and by the numbers. You just got to be able to see it, read it, and tell what is going on. And we teach that here. So very important. Alright, you guys. Pretty much, we've talked about some upside, downside targets, a couple dates coming up in the near distant future to pay attention to. We'll go even deeper into March, and that's going to be obviously 3-8. We know death equals 38, murder equals 38, RIP equals 38. LeBron James scored 38 points on his 38th birthday. Los Angeles equals 38. And we saw the Chiefs win the last Super Bowl with a total of 38 points, Super Bowl 57. So this 38 has been very powerful. We know we get this 38 in Gematria 38 when we type that out. What we teach you here, this code we teach you, gives us that same 38. We know Kabbalah gives us that same 38. So very important, just a very important number to pay attention to. So we're going to pay attention to the date, written internationally 8-3 or 38. When we type out Shemitah, the 7-year sabbatical cycle that we just came out of, we get that 38. So very important that we pay attention to this. This day coming up, could we see a sell-off leading into the full moon, which I do believe is on the 7th, you guys, correct? March full moon. We'll have to go up here and search March full moon. I'm not sure, I think it's the 7th. Yeah, March 7th, the next full moon, where we tend to get a microstructure low come in the market. So again, could see some bearish energy coming in the first week of March, leading all the way up into the full moon. One day to pay attention to is this 311 date, the mirror of 113, 311. 3 times 11 is 33. So this Babylonian Talmud, the Baba Kamal, this day adds up to 57 in numerology, and we were just talking about the 57th Super Bowl. Remember, all roads lead to Rome. Rome equals 57. Gladiator equals 57, and they used to throw you in a Coliseum 57. So remember that. All the way up into this 313. Palindrome date, 3113. Okay. That's going to be the 72nd day of the year. We know Bitcoin adds up to 72, so very important. Not much to say about Ethereum, you guys. It's in pretty much the exact posture as Bitcoin when you look at it. Setting a higher high, a low, higher high, lower high. Setting a low with our high, which is a higher high, and now we've got a higher low. Getting back above both of these exponential moving averages and just in absolute bullish posture. So that's pretty much going in accordance to what we've been talking about, is just trying to get back above this $1,700 so we can probably see a breakout to 2,000 again. We've obviously held support of this 1450 horizontal range for quite some time. We had our W pattern breakout that has been successfully filled, and now we're kind of just holding support upon the top side of where this breakout was projected to go. So very important. If we fall to hold support of these exponential moving averages, I would expect to come all the way back down to possibly 1,500. We'll say 1,500 psychologically even. I don't expect to see a retest in the 14s. I believe we've pretty much stair-stepped and climbed our way out of this for Ethereum. I mean, it was super suppressed, held a lot of structure and support. I've been pretty excited about seeing where this asset goes for this automatic rally. And that's something we'll continue to pay attention and watch and de-risk as we continue to climb up. And it's pretty much not the same for XRP though, you guys. It's doing exactly the exact opposite. And we know that's because of this trend line that goes back in time that we've been finally broke out above, but we can still come back and retest possibly the bottom side of this trend line one more time, as support. We broke out, we never came back and retested this trend line. Now we don't have to, but it's healthy to do that. So any move that could bring XRP down, we could definitely possibly come right back down to this 32.2 or this 223 if it's a dramatic news in the market. Some kind of speculation or news geopolitically in the world, etc., that brings all the markets down. If crypto was to take a plunge because Bitcoin was to sell off back to the CME gap sooner rather than later, something like that, world war narrative or whatever comes out, and of course we could see all these markets come down. But XRP is just not looking as healthy as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of these other markets. So right now, just what's important is holding support of this 36-cent range, 369 roughly, that 369 range, roughly 37 cent even. So if we were to break these two ranges, then yeah, we're easily going to come back down into 34, 35 cents and possibly even lower depending on what we see. But right now, I've been dollar cost averaging into this asset because I know what it is and what it's going to be in the future. I'm not saying it's going to go to 1,000, 10,589 overnight. No, but I know it's going to be a major player. I've been dollar cost averaging into this asset for 3+ years as my number one bet. So we know what's to come for the future for XRP. So right now, dollar cost averaging in at 37 cents, which is the new 17 cents, it's nothing different. One day we'll be at an even higher price that will be an average price that makes this 37 cents look like a great opportunity to buy. So with all that being said, we'll probably sign out of this and leave this here. Just want to come out and drop a quick video for you all before we went into work today, because I know I've been missing in action. So take care, God bless, and have a blessing. Pioneers rise, build your fortress, and build your legacy. We'll see you in the next one.